let's peel back the cover for a second because I want everybody on the call to be able to benefit from some of the insights that you discovered, Sydney, when you were talking to Coach Christie. So what were some things that stood out about that call where you're like, you know what? They definitely passed.
Yeah. She was joyful top to bottom. So I've had calls where people kind of sound like a bank teller, like they're just on auto response when they're answering the phone. And then we see kind of the energy start to pick up. She was top to bottom, high energy, positive. Like she genuinely sounded joyful talking about the program and speaking with me all the way through.
So enthusiasm is one of the biggest rate limiting factors that we see. You either jump in with full enthusiasm or, like you said, I like the term that you used. It kind of sounded like a bank teller. Monotone, no enthusiasm. And honestly, when there's no enthusiasm, it kind of causes us to question the validity of the program.
Yep.
You know, if you're a parent and you're looking for a happy, fun, safe program for your kiddo, and you've got somebody on the phone that's just kind of blah, you know, we use the term Eeyore, right? You're a Tigger or you're an Eeyore. And if you show up and you're like, Eeyore, you're not going to make the sales. So, all right. So she checked off the box of enthusiasm. What else stood out?
She used my name and my daughter's name so much. I've had calls where, okay, they got my name, they got my child's name. Maybe they use it one other time. Every sentence that she had, every other sentence used my name. And then she just, I mean, throughout the entire call, it was so personal. Like she sounded like she truly wanted to get to know me. It wasn't rushed at all. And she was excited for the opportunity to just connect with me. Everything was conversational. Everything just, you know, anything that she told about the program, she used my child's name, what she was going to experience, how that was awesome. When she redirected a question back to me, she led with my name. You know, I won't say what my secret shop name, but you know, so and so, boom, 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 you know, goes right into it. And it was very, very smooth.
I love that. That's one thing that, you know, when Lauren was doing sales calls and we were testing out the system, Lauren, you always did that, right?
Yes. 100%.
Using the first names allows for us to jump into that best friend zone.
Yep.
So quickly. Whereas if you don't do that, it's almost like company versus lead. We never want it to be company versus lead or company talking to a lead. We want it to be long lost best friends that are just reconnecting and the spark is there and you guys are excited to talk to each other. All right, so we've got enthusiasm. We have not only the use of your first name as the parent, but also the use of your fictitious child first name. What are a couple other things that stood out?
When she went into the magic questions, it sounded natural. It didn't sound scripted or clinical. Like it sounded like somebody genuinely trying to get to know me. And every response I had, she engaged the response versus just kind of jotting down information or gathering information. It was truly like she used them as conversation starters.
All right, I'm going to quiz everybody that's on the line here. I'm looking at Michael Startwell. I'm looking at Micah, Saco, Maine. What's up, guys? You guys have your jackets on. It's already cold up there. Amy Williams. Who else do we have on here? We got a lot of people on here. What allows that natural conversational flow with the script? It's a simple answer. What allows it to exist? Somebody type it in the chat section, even if I didn't just call out your name. I'm looking at the chat here. We got a bunch of people typing in the word practice. Everybody say practice. Look at the person next to you. Look him in the eyes. I'm looking at Super Chris right here. This beautiful man. Practice, right? Practice.
Practice.
I should probably look at my beautiful wife and say, yeah.
Practice.
Practice. If we practice, it becomes natural. And last week, one of the things that we talked about was we need to have the martial arts mindset. And, you know, it's funny because usually we say, let's take off our martial arts hat. Let's put on our after school and summer camp hat. But this time I'm telling you, keep the martial arts hat on. Keep the dance hat on. Practice helps you flow. It helps you have that conversational tone. All right. So, Sydney, going back to you.
Yeah.
Got the enthusiasm. Everything was conversational. It flowed. She used your name. She used your child's name. What's one other thing that stood out about that call where you're like, you know what? This was awesome. They passed.
Mm-hmm. She wanted to find out truly what I needed. That's kind of what helped her direct towards the end of the call, like what exactly I was looking for. And then she connected all of the dots with all of my responses. And then she did that in a way where it wasn't in this just info dump, lectured response. It just, again, it was natural. And she just, it was great. She connected the dots there. She used the director's name to kind of set up for our campus tour. You're going to meet so-and-so. They're going to be so excited to meet you. Use my name, use my child's name, use my child's name. She's going to love this. She's going to see this. She also set me up for upcoming events. So one of the things, as you guys know, on the sales script is getting the email and confirming the email. And oftentimes when if somebody asks me for the email, it's after I've already agreed to do a campus tour. She got that at the very beginning because she didn't want me to miss out on all of the upcoming holiday events and things that were coming that she'd want me to be a part of.
Yep.
There it
So,
is.
and again, used my name and my daughter's name. Like, you guys are going to love this. And
Well, we call that future pacing, right? Everybody put down that term in your notes, future pacing. You are letting the person know what to expect, and also psychologically, you're telling them how they're going to feel about it.
Yep.
So Sydney, if you think back to one of, a couple of the things that she said to you, like, how was she future pacing you and your fictitious child about what to expect in the program? Like, what were some things that she was saying?
One that, my daughter was going to just absolutely be seen, and that they were going to be looking out for her experience. And then I could feel that too as the parent, what is important to you as a parent? Yeah, I totally get that. And she just, dove into that. So I felt very seen, very heard, very valued. And then the experience that was being set up was just something that was going to be just so enjoyable.
Awesome. Now, did she transition to some type of next step, whether it's like going straight for the close or scheduling a tour? Like, what was that transition? This is the final question I want to ask you.
Yeah, she did. She did go for the close. And then that's where I was like, well, I'm going to talk to my husband. And then she rolled with that. There was no energy dip there.
All right. Pause for a second. Everybody put that in your notes. If you get any type of objection, I love how you said it, Sydney. There was no energy dip. There wasn't like, oh, well, I guess I lost that sale. Okay, so let's get you in for a tour. How did she handle it?
Yeah, she was like, absolutely, I totally understand. This is an important decision. We want, all of our families to be on the same page. Let's bring everybody in, and just completely rolled with it. She truly came across like she was on my side. It wasn't like, if we were in person, it wasn't as if I was across the table from her. It was as if she was by my side and she was sharing like what's to come.
Wow.
And that's how it felt.
Awesome. My friends, everybody that's on this call right now and everyone who watches the replay, that is gold.
Yep.
Because that's the exact culture, the exact impression, the exact perception that we want every one of your leads to experience. Because at the end of the day, we're not trying to close a sale. We know that the parents need after school. We know that they need summer camp. We are trying to guide them down this path so that they realize that our place is the best place and that we do care about their kid and we do want to know what makes their child happy. And we want to know what's going to make this after school program perfect for you as a parent. I love, Sydney, how you said she wasn't coming across as like she's sitting across the table from you.
Mm-hmm.
She's next to you. And when you can change sales from selling to guiding, guess what you get more of? More enrollments. So shout out to you guys. Henry and Carmen, you've done a great job with your training. You've done a great job establishing culture because your team stepped up and took that call, and Coach Christy crushed it. So, which, by the way, I mean, we have the recording of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Type yes in the chat section if you want us to post it. Good. Good. Let me get permission from Henry and Carmen. I'm sure they'll say that's fine, right? But I think this will be, Carmen, are we cool to post it? Unless that's a different Carmen. Okay, she said we're good. All right, so let's give a round of applause to Carmen. Thank you for the permission to post that. But yeah, guys, use this as a tool to study. And the thing of it is like there's never a perfect call. It's funny. I would listen in when Lauren was doing sales calls and when Coach Julie was doing sales calls back in the day, and even on my own. And there would be calls that you felt like you crushed it. Like you're like, this is the best I've ever done. And then the parent's like, I don't know. And then you still have to.
What happened?
Yeah. It's like confusing a little bit, right? And then you'll have some calls that are kind of awkward sometimes and a little bit goofy, but they still enroll. So when you can find that sweet spot where it's conversational, you have the high energy, you follow the script, you're going to get those people to say yes. And I always want to remind everybody, we're not jumping straight in from lead to enrollment within 2 minutes. There's a little bit of a dance. You guys got to kind of hold hands for a little bit. Got to go on a date. And when you take your time and you don't feel rushed in that conversation, you'll start to see that your enrollments will pick up. And even if they're not enrolling on the very first call, you'll see that they commit very easily to coming in for a tour. And I want you to write this term down in your notes, please. Write down the term sales consistency. We talk about marketing consistency, where somebody sees our website and they see an ad or they see a flyer, and then they get this idea of what your culture is like from those assets. But then also on the sales side of it, we want them to have a consistent experience with that culture as well. So from the way that you answer the phone or the way that you send a text or the way that you leave a voicemail, it all has to be congruent. And then when you get them on the phone, that has to be congruent, high energy, right? And then if they don't sign up on the phone, that's fine, because we know that we're going to get them in for a campus tour, and then they're definitely enrolling, because here's why. They've already made a series of micro commitments to say yes. They saw your ad, they saw your flyer, they reached out to you, you responded, they picked up, they had a conversation, they agreed to come to a tour, they got in their car, they showed up to the tour. They've already said yes like 10 times.
Yep.
The only reason, and I say this very intentionally, lean in, my friends, STC, let's go. The only reason they wouldn't sign up is if you gave them a reason not to. And that's where trust is broken, or that's where they show up and like the facility's dirty, or it smells bad, or the director's grumpy at the front desk, or, just there's something that throws them off. So as long as you prevent something like that from happening, they're signing up. I mean, they really are. I've said this many times in the past. I knew that if we sent any campus tour to Coach Sydney or to Coach Will or to Coach Julie, it was 100% guaranteed that they were signing up. Like if somebody didn't enroll after a campus tour, I literally would call the team member and be like, hey, what happened? Like, were they a bunch of weird people?
Yeah, like what happened?
Like
what literally happened?
Like what's wrong with the lead? What's wrong with that kid or that family for not joining, right? So Coach Sydney, shout out to you. Great work as always. We're going to get that call posted. So Tori, if you can put that in your notes, we'll get that call posted of the replay. And guys, study it, post your questions, and even share it with whoever does your sales so that they can get a different perspective of how that kind of flows. So cool stuff. All right. Thank you.